The highest stakes poker matches of all time. One of my favorite things to do on a Friday afternoon is to call up some friends of mine and arrange for a nice game of poker. Typically, it's Texas Hold'em, and it usually results in me losing quite a bit of cash. But like I always say, I do it for the banter. The great thing about poker is the fact that anyone can play it. All walks of life, young, old, rich, or poor. Anyone can enjoy poker. The game challenges you to do the best with what you've been dealt and make do with even the saddest of hands. The game in that regard is much like life. You need to know when to cut your losses, and you need to know when to get the most out of a winning situation. In my days of poker, I've played with quite a few good players, some of which are professional, some of which are celebrities who have let their obsession with poker take a hold of them. These celebrities typically raise the stakes rather high with buy-ins in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Games of poker are more enjoyable when things are on the line. So when dealing with individuals worth millions of dollars, the only way for a game to be fun is to put the stakes incredibly high. Today, I'll be looking into the highest stakes poker games of all time. Some of these matches are on record, and some of them are just rumors. But you can trust me that if any rumor found its way to one of my videos, there must be a bit of evidence to support its integrity. So, let's get into some of the most expensive, highest stakes poker matches ever played. Phil Hellmuth is one of the most popular professional players today. He's known for being quick with trash talk and lets his opinion be known very clearly when he believes one of his opponents did something not up to the standards of the unspoken rules of poker. Phil has gone on Twitter talking about the repeating, extremely high-stakes poker match of Silicon Valley. Some of the participants include the former vice president of Facebook, Chamath Palihapitiya, Zynga founder Mark Pincus, Yama founder David Sachs, Jason Calacanis, as well as the David Lee, an NBA player for the Golden State Warriors. These tech moguls and Cali residents compete in this game regularly, with buy-ins around $10,000, which translate to around 100 to 200 no-limit hold'em. You can imagine how the techies do in these games, considering they're all geniuses. But don't consider David Lee a slouch either. Phil Hellmuth said he lost $32,000 to David Lee in just one session. In an interview with Poker Listings, Hellmuth went on to say, "They're so sharp, I've played with these guys in the private game for 3 years, and after 3 years, I'm basically losing money." And I was like, what in the world is going on here? Because I've been crushing everyone in Hold'em my whole life. So as far as the Bay Area is concerned, there's a go-to high-stakes poker scene. But as Phil Hellmuth would suggest, there's no easy money to be found there. The next match we'll be taking a look at is a New York game with a full house of Hollywood celebrities. The buy-ins were said to have been between $50,000 and $100,000 in 501,000 no-limit hold'em matches. But perhaps the highest stakes involved in this poker series was the fact that it was completely illegal. This reoccurring match is one of the most infamous poker stories ever told. Tobey Maguire, you know, the guy who played Spider-Man all those years ago. Well, he ran this under-the-radar poker series with several other huge Hollywood stars, including Ben Affleck, Leonardo DiCaprio, Nick Cassavetes, and Matt Damon. Other attendees included professional poker players Phil Ivey, Rick Salomon, and Jamie Gold. The game started in the VIP section of the Viper Room, a popular Hollywood club, but would quickly be moved to various hotels in New York City. It's said that the 2006 Poker World Champion, Jamie Gold, who won $12 million at the World Series of Poker, allegedly lost his entire bankroll in this game. This game created such a huge story that the opening of Ocean's 11 was meant to represent Tobey's game. And later on, an entire movie was made, titled Molly's Game, based on the tell-all book written by Tobey's game facilitator, Molly Bloom. Bloom said that Tobey Maguire was the worst tipper and the worst loser. Come on, Tobey. That doesn't sound like our friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Molly also said that both Matt Damon and Ben Affleck were the most cordial at the poker table. Toby started the string of games, but eventually, as Molly tells us in her book, she herself took the game over. The next match we'll be taking a look at takes place in Macau, China. Macau has been nicknamed the Las Vegas of Asia, and for good reason. For years now, more and more of the professional poker scene is moving to China, thanks to their seemingly infinite budget. The Star World's Poker King Club is an exclusive repeating game that sees buy-ins over $300,000 US, and sometimes as high as $1 million. The club is so exclusive that many American professional poker players have been turned down. Some of the reoccurring players include Richard Young, Paul Foy, Winfred Yu, Tom Dwan, Andrew Roble, Phil Ivey, Guy Lalibert, Sam Trickett, and Johnny Chan. The game is mainly run by billionaire Malaysian businessmen Richard Young and Paul Foy. Giving action is prized above all else. Because the game is off the books, many of the players can't actually afford to play, and one of these billionaires will often pay for players to play. This is certainly a weird flex, and meant to express the status and money that they have. But you can't imagine the tricky dynamics that might arise when you're head-to-head in a costly hand with the man who paid for you to be there in the first place. But that's the thing with this exclusive club. These players will do whatever they can to get into the poker match, no matter how awkward it can get. On top of that difficulty, there is often a language barrier in these matches between the Malaysian men and the Americans. But I guess the saying holds true, that money talks, and that's a language that all of these men are fluent in. It's also been rumored that foreign players have to pay back 20% of their winnings to the casino for hosting the location, and even allowing the player to be there in the first place. This insanely exclusive and jaw-droppingly expensive poker club is certainly something that's on my bucket list. The last match we'll be looking into is that of Dan Bilzerian's private poker games. Dan Bilzerian once told Joe Rogan that he pretty much made all of his money playing poker. And to this day, it's still a reoccurring pastime for the millionaire playboy. As far as the stakes go, it's about as high as you can imagine. Dan said he once bought in for $10 million. The game is rather low-key, so other than Dan, it isn't known who attends these matches. We can assume it's just a bunch of millionaire celebs and businessmen. Dan himself reportedly won $50 million in a 12-month span just by playing in various private games, which means the stakes are simply astronomical. Reports about the games are sketchy to say the least, but Bilzerian every now and then leaks information through Twitter. To give you an idea about the takes Bilzerian played, Tobey Maguire once said that most of the celebrities like Ben Affleck can't even afford to play the stakes that he plays. One of the most infamous stories about this game was a particular opponent who only bet cars or planes. According to Bilzerian, the numbers worked out something like this: betting a Mercedes, $100,000, betting a Ferrari, $300,000, betting a Bugatti, $1 million. And if that's true, I think that this is perhaps the most obnoxiously extravagant game of poker ever played. And a fitting way to end the video. I hope you enjoyed hearing about all of these outrageous poker games. Let me know in the comment section below what your favorite thing to do at the casino is. Mine personally is leaving without losing all of my money. As always, I'm Mr. Luxury, and thank you for watching this video. Pip pip de doodly doo.